What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and just as a real quick PSA for folks who've been missing where I've been at. Long story short, back-to-back night shifts, including coming home from a 12-plus overnight shift to have to deal with flooding due to all the weather that we were getting. Back to normal after the 3 back-to-back 12-hour overnight night shifts. Tweak my back while working on the deck, then get slammed with a just shy of 104 fever on Friday before Christmas. That fever persisted for about 4 or so days, so I'm just starting to get over it. You might be able to hear it if you hear strain in my voice. It's because I still have like a chest thing going on with a pretty nasty cough that comes and goes. So that's where I've been at. But it's been too long. I need to make content. I appreciate everybody letting me take as much time off as I did. Let's dive into what today is about, which is another series of completely, seemingly, as far as I could tell, a lack of marketed, branding content from Dungeons and Dragons. I'm gonna go check the official Dungeons and Dragons Twitter account because we constantly see all of these things where they'll go and do some sort of collaboration with some other company, and then there is nothing at all on any of their websites or any of their social media talking about the fact that they're doing this. Okay, so what's important is I show you this. This is the 14th of December. This is the 18th of December. And then we go the 19th, and then as we go on, you can see things like a variety of different posts from Baldur's Gate to this really cool thing with Baldur's Gate and Elijah Wood and Sam Aston to a various degree of other things. Now, the reason I bring that up is apparently Wizards of the Coast did a collaboration with Vampire Cosmetics. Now, again, I'm obviously not a user of cosmetics on the regular, but you may be. And that's one of the only 2 called out collaborations Vampire Cosmetics has on their website. One is Silent Hill, the other is Dungeons and Dragons. And as far as I can tell, this was announced on the 18th of December to nothing from Wizards of the Coast, which is odd, especially considering stuff we talked about earlier that they said they're going to be focusing more on like branded content. But this reminds me again, I talked about it before where they kind of joined with a LARP company to do branded D&D LARP clothing. And again, the only people talking about it were the LARP company, nothing from Wizards of the Coast. So here is this press release from Vampire Cosmetics, right? You can see it right here, D&D, right at the top of the screen. And it says, pre-order Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master Collector's Box Volume 1. Now, again, I don't know enough about cosmetics. Now, I did cosplay and did, prosthetic kind of cosmetics, elf ears and things of that nature, but not like traditional makeup. So I don't really know what costs are what, but they're listing this Dungeon Master Collector's Box Volume 1 at $429, now currently 30% off, down to $300. It obviously has the Hydro 74 looking art of a red dragon here. And then you can see the inside has a variety of different art styles. Looks like some of this is classic first edition, as well as some other things. It says Dungeon Master Guidebook Palette, 5 class-related palettes, which we'll look at in a second here, an alignment palette, 5 class multi-chrome eyeliners, potion lip glosses in spell book box, and a Dungeon Master screen collector's box. So at the very least, it looks like you are getting this box functions like a DM screen. So if we were to scroll down, you can see a variety of these. But it says the Vampire Cosmetics X Dungeons and Dragons collection merges bold colors with the narrative storytelling at the heart of any adventuring party to transcend traditional makeup and open new avenues for collaborative storytelling. Every item in the collection delves into the half-century of world-building D&D Unleashed, with a Dungeon Master Guidebook palette featuring 45 individual shades and a detachable magnetic character sheet. Adventurers will always be ready for the day's quest, but no one can blame you if you don't want to worry about the whole book. It's nice to focus on your own character, and that's exactly what our original character class palettes do. There are 4 different collector box sets planned to be launched during 2024, with the final limited edition release shipping in a large treasure chest-shaped box that can house all 4 collections together. Pre-sales for the first collection opened on the 18th of December, will ship in February of 2024. The first collection will include a Dungeon Master guidebook palette with 45 colors, an alignment-themed palette, 5 character class palettes, potion lip glosses, and a spell book-shaped box, all housed in the Dungeon Master Screen Collector's Box. So it sounds like that is, from what I'm understanding, Box 1, which is pre-orderable, I guess now, set to release in February, and that is one of 4 limited edition box releases coming out next year, which you can obviously get some sort of giant treasure chest box to store all of your 4 individual boxes in. All right. So we kind of, if we click on that itself, we can see more pictures, right? So here is, looks like here's the alignment palette, which we can see lawful good, neutral good. You can see the variety of the colors here. Then we've got, here is, this looks like the potion. This is the invisibility potion. I'm guessing this is just like a clear, I think this was this a lip gloss? What was this? Lip gloss. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's maybe just like a clear lip gloss, right? Then we can see the multi-chrome class eyeliners, Magical Secrets, Fighting Style, Spellmaster, Stroke of Luck, Divine Domain, right? So these are obviously tied to, as you can see from the symbols here, Bard, Fighter, Wizard, Rogue, Cleric. Then we have the Cleric palette here, which looks like this is a mirror on one side. And then we have the color palettes here of Channel Divinity, Bless, Mass Heal, and Divine Intervention. The Bard, which is shaped like a lute, has Bardic Inspiration, Jack of all trades, Cutting Words, and Vicious Mockery, with more of like a purple. This looks almost kind of, I don't know what you would call this. Not earthy, but interesting color palette. We have a more kind of purple color palette here for the Bard. The Fighter is very stark in comparison here with this Shield palette, Indomitable, Action Surge, Second Wind, Martial Prowess. And then again, here is the Dungeon Master book with all of the individual, supposed to have that 45 different palettes, which look to be themed after different monsters. Oh, here is the Wizard palette, which is more of like a blue. And again, the Rogue palette, which is more of like a darker colors, shadowy colors, which again makes sense. And here again is our Wizard. Also, you can see some of these seem to have different degrees of sparkle and glitter involved. So that is, again, what's the kind of the number, Collector's Box Volume 1, which is Dungeon Master themed, which is set to launch in February. Now, if we go back to that main website, we can see some of the other things, right? Here is the Spell Potion lip glosses. We'll go and click on those in a second. You can see that if you don't want to get the Collector's Box, you can just get the class palettes. Look like, is it, we're going to have to check these out because is it $25 per individual palette, which is what I'm thinking, not $25 for 5 palettes. We have the eyeliners here. Again, then you can get just the Dungeon Master Guide palette book, which is, again, 45 individual colors, or the alignment palette book, which is obviously going to give you the 9 alignments, or you can get the kind of Mac Daddy version here that's just everything you see here all together. So if you were to look at the potions, we have Potion of Heroism here, which looks to be like a blue, Potion of Poison, which is a green, Dragon's Majesty, which appears to be a gold, I think. Invisibility looks like it could be either a clear or a silver. Elixir of Health is like a red, and I think that's all of those. And it does appear that those are all $11.99 each. You pick the color. It also does appear that, yes, the palettes are $25 individually. And then the eyeliners here are, again, $20 individually. If we scroll down, it goes on to basically just talk about everything we just mentioned. Yeah, and then that's it. It says Countdown to D&D Collection Presale, which is obviously done at this point. But honestly, even if I wasn't sick, I didn't hear anything about this. It's like, again, one of these weird things where it's like, especially since WotC said, or Hasbro said, that they're basically going to be focusing on like branded content, which we know obviously they've had some pretty solid branded content in the form of things like Baldur's Gate 3. But then you get other branded content things like this, which again, I want to point out that cosmetics, and I don't know vampire cosmetics, maybe they're super high end, maybe they're crap, I don't know. But they look like they're putting a lot of effort into what they're doing to showcase different colors and appeal to the D&D player who also might like cosmetics. So this might not be your thing, the person watching this video, but this might be a thing for somebody else. This might have been a great thing for you to know that went live on the 18th of December so that you could have pre-ordered it, and maybe that's something you slip under the tree for somebody and could have said, you know, for whatever holiday you know, whether it's Christmas or a different holiday that you celebrate, hey, I got you this for the holiday gift. It doesn't come out until February, but I wanted to show you this cool thing I got you now, and you can kind of print them out a card or whatever to say, hey, I got you this. It's just not going to be here till February, but like, hey, maybe your interests are exactly this, cosmetics and Dungeons and Dragons. I know a lot of people who play Dungeons and Dragons are also fans of possibly cosplaying their characters. I don't know if this makeup is really great for doing cosplay, but I mean, it's eyeliner and color palettes. You can use those to come up with different things. Plus, it's kind of cool, right? If you wanted to, it's a collector's thing, right? We as D&D and RPG players are collectors by nature, whether that's collecting dice, collecting books, miniatures, whatever the case may be. I mean, like, I have a whole area behind me that's just full of collectibles. Granted, some of these things are things I've made myself, but a lot of them are interesting collectible things, crossovers, limited edition stuff. That's what this is, right? I mean, we've talked about Quests and Whiskey before, right? This is, again, a limited edition thing that's geared towards RPG players. So, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this in the comments down below. Maybe you travel in cosmetic circles more than I do, which is not at all. And this is everywhere, right? Maybe you've heard about this for months. You knew, because obviously they had a countdown calendar at some point, which means that this press release that mentioned that this was going to go live on the 18th came out sometime prior to the 18th to let you know that it was gonna go live. But I had no idea when this was gonna be or that it was even happening. But like I said, maybe in your realm, if this is an area that you frequent, you're aware of it. And if so, I'd love to hear about that in the comments down below. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on vampire cosmetics in general. They don't look like they're a... it does look like they have a variety of different cosmetic options for you here, and obviously they've done collaborations with a variety of different groups. I see Bill and Ted's Excellent Makeup Collection. I see Living Dead dolls. Obviously, we mentioned Silent Hill. So it seems like perhaps that's their shtick, is that they do interesting, unique, branded stuff. You know, as somebody who, you know, had his emo phase, spent a lot of time hanging out with people in Hot Topics and stuff like that when I was younger, this was like right up a ton of different people's alley and like would have been all the rage, this kind of stuff. Like, look, here's a Vincent Price palette. Like, this would have been all over like that emo goth phase of like the early 2000s till mid 2000s. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I'll see you all next time.